Have you ever wondered how a drum carder gets clean? Well, if you have, in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the process on how I clean my drum carder. When owning a drum carder or anything at that matter, you of course want to take care of it as best as you possibly can. And sometimes that comes with cleaning. So with these drum carders, you do have to clean them quite often. And when I say quite often, I mean every time that you use them, if not every other time. Now there's a few exceptions to that. Now if you are using different fibers each time that you use your drum carder, you do want to make sure you are cleaning them in between. Now, if you're using the exact same fiber, what I typically do is run 2 bats through it and then clean it. Just because they do get nasty real quick and you just want to take care of them as best as you can. Now, if you are using wool, you want to make sure, or anything that has a high oil content, which wool does have lanolin in it, before you use the wool, you want to make sure that it is clean and has been processed to get all of that oil out of there, because if not, that oil will start building up on your drum carder, which can ruin this teeth cloth here, and eventually you might have to replace it, and sometimes those can be fairly expensive. So I have already kind of started my cleaning process, just because what I like to do is remove my drum carder off of my table and clean up underneath it. That way any dirt or fiber that has fallen off or anything that does not need to be in my bat is up underneath my drum carder, I clean that first so it's not building back up into my drum carder, and that becomes a real mess if you don't clean it first. I've witnessed that firsthand. So after I have cleaned up underneath it, I will move into either the drum or the liquor, which is the smaller drum down here. It really depends on which one's worse, but usually I do start with the liquor, but today I'm going to be starting with the drum because the drum is a little bit worse than the liquor. So what I use is a few different things. Of course, I use my little awl or pick, whichever one you want to call this. And then I also I've picked up this a few years ago from Walmart, and it is a cat brush, I believe. But I have found this to work the best for me when cleaning anything that has teeth, like my drum carder or my hand carders, or even my brush here as well. I have tried using not a flicker brush, but a packing brush, a small packing brush, and that really has not worked. But this cat brush that I've picked up from Walmart years ago has worked the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick all of this excess fiber that is in my drum, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove it as best as I can. Once I have gotten those bigger pieces out, I'm going to actually start working on my liquor down here. That way this fiber that is stuck in there isn't going back into my drum quarter. So I'm just going to take my handy dandy pet brush and I'm just going to try to get that fiber out of there as best as I possibly can. Sometimes you've got to go in a few different directions, and sometimes you do have to do this several different times. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just flicking my brush a little bit to grab the fibers. And again, I'm going to do this a few times around just to making sure I get as much fiber as I can. Sometimes it is really hard to get all the fiber just because there's just so much and it doesn't like to work with you all the time. So again, I'll just do this a few times. So once I have gotten my liquor clean as best as I possibly can, I'm going to start working on my drum, doing the exact same thing, just flicking my brush. Again, this can take a few times to get everything cleaned out. It just really depends on how bad your drum quarter is. Luckily, my drum quarter isn't that bad today. So once I have gotten my drum good and cleaned, I'm going to move back down to my liquor just to grab anything that it's picked up while cleaning my drum, and just repeating the exact same thing. And once I have gotten pretty much majority of it, it's not going to be 100% clean, but once I have gotten majority of it, I'm going to actually move to the sides here because there is some nuts and bolts down here that fiber likes to get in between. And I just take my awl or my pick and try to get as much fiber out of there as possible. And with this, tweezers would work really, really nice as well. Just picking that fiber out of there, but I did not plan ahead and grab tweezers. Now you can also take these apart if you want to, but I typically don't. I know a lot of people just use a pick, their awl or their pick to do this. But eventually if it gets too matted up in there, you will have to take it apart and get all of that fiber out in between the nuts and bolts. once I have cleaned my drum critter as best as I possibly can, I will go ahead and remove it off of the table and clean up underneath it again, just so that I can get any loose fiber or dirt that's fell out while going through the cleaning process. And that is really about it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, share, comment, or subscribe. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always feel free to email me, which will be down in the description box, or ask away in the comments as well. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in and going through the cleaning process with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.